to start. My name is Josephine Fulcher Anderson, and I'm the supervisor of the South End Branch and the Bookmobile. And I would just like to welcome you to our Reading is Grand program today. It's going to be a wonderful program. We are thankful to the Black Caucus of the American Library Association for giving us a grant so that we can bring this program to you. We really have two wonderful special people to share some information with you all today. We have Dr. Evelyn Avoya, who's going to share some wonderful music with us. And we have our own Mr. Denise Lyles, who is the supervisor of the Harry Bennett and the Weed Branch. So we have some really special VIP people here with us today. And we will begin with Dr. Evelyn Avoya singing a good welcome song. Dr. Ev?
Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. It's nice to be back in this beautifully refreshed room. Hello, everybody, and how are you? How are you? How are you? Hello, everybody, and how are you? How are you today? Hello to the mommies, and how are you? How are you? How are you? Hello to the mommies, and how are you? How are you today? And the daddies, hello to the daddies, and how are you? How are you? How are you? Hello to the daddies, and how are you? How are you today? Hello to the grandmas, and how are you? Grandma, how are you? How are you? Hello to the grandmas, and how are you? How are you today? And grandpa, hello to the grandpas, and how are you? How are you? How are you? Hello to the grandpas, and how are you? How are you today? This is Reading is Grand, and how are you? How are you? How are you? Reading is grand, and so are you. How are you today? So the readers are the mommies and the daddies and the grandmas and the grandpas and the aunties and the uncles and the teachers and the friends. And you have a great time listening to Miss Denise.
Thank you, Dr. Ev. That was awesome. Good morning, and welcome to Reading is Grand. Today for you, I am going to read Thank You, Amu by Oga Mora. Amu means queen in the Igbo language. Thank you, Amu. On the corner of First Street and Long Street on the very top floor, Amu was cooking a thick red stew in a big fat pot for a nice evening meal. She seasoned it and stirred it and took a small taste. What a delicious stew, Amu said. Tonight's dinner will surely be the best I've ever had. With that, Amu put down her spoon and went to read before supper. As the thick red stew simmered on the stove, its sumptuous scent wafted out of the window and down the hall toward the street and up the block. Knock, knock, knock. Someone was at the door. When Amu opened it, she saw a little boy. Little boy, Amu explained, what brings you to my home? I was playing with my race car down the hall and I smelled the most delicious smell. What is it? It's thick red stew. That sounds yummy. Amu thought for a moment. She was saving her stew for dinner, but she made quite a bit. Would you like some? The little boy nodded. And so Amu spooned out some thick red stew from her big fat pot for her nice evening meal. Thank you, Amu, the little boy said, and went on his way. With that, Amu closed the door and went back to her book.
As she read, her thick red stew's sumptuous scent wafted out of the window and down the hall toward the street. Knock, knock. Someone was at her door. When Amu opened the door this time, she saw a police officer. Miss Police Officer, Amu explained, what brings you to my home? I was on duty down the street and I smelled the most delicious smell. What is it? Thick red stew. Ah, stew. That sounds mighty tasty. Abu thought for a moment and then she still had enough to share. She said, would you like some? The police officer nodded. Once again, Amu spooled out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. Thank you, Amu, the officer said, and she went on her way. And so, for a second time, Amu closed her door and went back to her book. Sure enough, a thick red stew's sumptuous scent wafted out of the window and out the door down the hall. Knock, knock, knock. Again, someone was at Amu's door. And this time when she opened it, she saw the hot dog vendor. As the hot dog vendor, Amu exclaimed, what brings you to my home? I was selling my hot dogs down the block when I smelled the most delicious smell. What is it? Thick red stew? Ooh, stew. The vendor licked his lips. That sounds quite delectable. So Amu spooned out some of her thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. Thank you, Amu, the vendor said, and he went on his way. Throughout the day, people from all across the neighborhood knocked on Amu's door. She fed a shop owner, a cab driver, a doctor, an actor, a lawyer, a dancer, a baker, an artist, an athlete, a bus driver, a construction worker, and even the mayor stopped by. And each time they knocked, Amu shared. Soon, the sky darkened and the street lights brightened, and it was finally time for dinner. But when Amu opened her big fat pot of thick red stew for her nice evening meal, it was empty. Amu sniffed. Oh, there goes the best dinner I ever had. Shari and Blue, she sat at the table with her empty pot until knock, 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 knock. Who could that be? Amu wondered. When she opened her door, she saw the little boy, the police officer, the hot dog vendor, the shop owner, the cab driver, the doctor, the actor, the lawyer, the dancer. Everyone she fed today was at her door. I'm sorry, everyone. My thick red stew is all gone, Amu sighed. I have nothing left to share. The little boy tugged at Amu's sleeve and he said, don't worry, Amu. We are here to give. The police officer carried in a fresh salad. The mayor entered with a roasted chicken. The baker brought a collection of goodies. Even the little boy presented Amu with something special in a shiny red envelope. Everyone who knocked on Amu's door that day squeezed inside her tiny apartment, and together they ate, danced, and celebrated. While Amu's big fat pot of thick red stew was empty, her heart was full of happiness and love. The dinner was the best she ever had. Thank you, Amu. The end. Thank you, Amu by Ogumora. Sharing is a lot like giving thanks. They both bring people together.
Thank you, Miss Denise. That was just awesome. Let's give her another hand. Very nice. Again, our program reading is grand. Wonderful. We know how important it is to read. And for those who picked up your kits, your grab bag, those who did not, this is what it looks like. And inside the bags, you have wonderful bookmarkers, and we also have a picture frame. And our reading is grand project really was based on taking pictures. So what we'd like for you to do is, those who have your kids, is to take a picture of your mom, grandma, someone reading to you, and put it in your frame and send the picture to the library. And we will hang it on our wall of fame. Again, inside your bag, you have a wonderful book. In some of the bags, we actually have Thank You or Move, the book that Ms. Denise just read. So we invite you to come to the library and read, because reading certainly is grand. Thank you so much. At this time, we're going to ask Dr. Ev to come back and sing a song. No, before we do that, let's ask Ms. Denise to read another story. And I think she's going to read Let's Dance. Yes, I think everyone loves to dance. And this book is actually written by one of our local authors,
Valerie Bowling.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Denise.
Let's Dance, written by Valerie Bowling and illustrated by Maine Diaz. Let's dance. Tappity tap, fingers snap. Turn, twirl, twist and whirl. Jiggity jig, zig, zag, zig. Glide and slide, side to side. Wiggle hips, spin, dip, dip. Groovity groove, bust a move. Do-si do, to and fro. Cha cha cha, ooh la la. Boogie down to the ground. Up on toes, strike a pose. Leap high, fly, fly, fly. Fall asleep, counting sheep. Flamenco is a southern Spain dance where dancers clap their hands, snap their fingers, and stomp their feet. The long sleeve dance is from China. These dances glide with long flowing sleeves that move like water. Disco dancers move all parts of their body at once, head, hands, and hips. This dance can be done alone or with a partner. The cha-cha-cha gets its name from the sound of dancers' feet as they shuffle against the floor. This dance was invented in Cuba. African-American youth created breakdancing. Breakdancers can do amazing stunts like headstands and head spins. Handstands and head spins. Line dancing is done in a group. Line dancers practice doing the same steps all the time. And ballet. Ballet dancers move across the stage on their toes when they leap and fly through the air. The end. Let's Dance by Valerie Bowling.
Okay, may I see that, Ms. Denise? Thank you. Let's give Ms. Denise another hand for sharing with us Let's Dance. Again, I want to thank the Black Caucus of the American Library Association for making this program possible. Of course, we want to thank the Ferguson Library and Friends of Ferguson and all those who join us today to continue to read this book, you will also find in your grab and go bag. So again, all of those who have not picked up your bag, please do so. They're here for you. Thank you. And now we will have a closing song by Dr. F. And if you want to get up and dance, let's get up and dance. Dr.
Well,
F?
yeah, we're gonna have to dance off first. Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba, se necesita una boca de gracia, una boca de gracia, otro cosita, y arriba, y arriba, y arriba, y arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Yo no soy marinero. Yo no soy marinero, soy capitán, soy capitán, soy capitán. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Dancing. The letters make the sound. The letters make the sound. When I read to you, when you to me, the letters make the sound. The sounds make the words. The sounds make the words. When I read to you, when you to me, the sounds make the words, and the words tell the tales. The words tell the tales. When I read to you, when you to me, the words tell the tales. They're not just in a book. They're everywhere we look. Reading is grand in every land, so read wherever you can. It's time to say good day. It's time to say good day. So wave your hand, because reading is grand. It's time to say good day.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, and thank everyone for joining us, because reading is grand. Goodbye, everyone, and thank you so very much for joining us.